Det her, det er en kinesisk melodi, som hedder tuning. What did you learn in school today, dear little boy of mine? What did you learn in school today, dear little boy of mine? This song was originally written by an American, but I've made my own version to hear a little bit more about what goes on in the schools all over the world. And in order to make it more understandable, I'll keep it all in English. And what's more natural than starting in English in England? Now, what did you learn in school today, dear little chap of mine? Tell me exactly. What did the professor tell you in school today? Good old sport of mine. I learned that in Britain everything will be okay as long as it goes Mrs. Thatcher's way. And that Prince Philip is sponsored by a shaving machine. That's why we all sing God Save the Queen. That's what we learn in school today. That's what we learn in school. Now, what do you learn in school today, mes garçons, eh? Me? I learned that in the common market to have harmony, because I learned to make love to even Germany. So I learned to make love the old French ways. Who cares to whom as long as it pays, huh? That's what the teacher said, that's what the teacher said. And that's what we learn in school today. That's what we learn in school. What do you learn in school today, Schultz? By the way, a couple of years ago, I sang at a big party held in Elsinore, northern part of Zealand, and the guest of honor at that dinner party, you see, the occasion was the European Championship of Sea Fishing. The guest of honor was the German Prince Richard von Berlenburg, who happens to be married to the Danish Princess Benedicte. I don't know why. But he was there as the protector of the fish, I guess. And I made a special verse for him, and it goes like this. I learned that the Prince von Berlenburg is always on a fishing tour. And according to his own fishing tales, he will soon become the Prince of Wales. That's what we learn in school today. By the way, have you heard the announcement in a German airplane preparing its landing? Ladies and gentlemen, we are now preparing our landing, so please raise your seats to an upright position, fold your tables, and fasten your seatbelts. And I only want to hear one click. That's what we learn in school today. That's what we learn in school. What did he tell you in school today, amigo? Las castañetas. Either you can do this or you can't do it. I mean, I happen to be able to do it. I mean, if you can't do it, don't get frustrated. I'm sure you can do lots of other things. Go to Alaska on a fishing tour. Remember to bring your camera. There'll be no fishing. Ask your prime minister. He's forgotten why. I'm going to tell you one special thing. In Spain we have Costa Brava, Costa Mucho, and Costa del Sol, and Costa whatever it's called. In Spain we learn how to fight a bull, and how to make a tourist look like a fool. That's what we learn in school today. That's what we learn in school. Now tell me, kid, what did you pick up in school today, dear little boy of mine? What did the bastards push you with, dear little cowboy of mine? I learned that we were the first to put a man on the moon, and I'm sure we'll have a McDonald up there soon. The next step will be a military base, but of course just to protect the human race up in space, just in case. That's what we learned in school today. You see, a couple of years ago, the Danish Prime Minister Poul Slytter, he visited Ronald Reagan. He was very impressed with Reagan's way of testing his people in the White House. And he asked Ronald Reagan to show him how he tested his personnel. And Ronald Reagan, he called for his vice president, Mr. George Bush, and said, well, George, this is a test. Now listen carefully, George. Your father has one child, and he's a boy. Who is he, George?
Well, I guess that's me, Mr. President.
That's right, George. Go back to work.
And Paul Studer came back to Denmark and was very inspired. And immediately he called for his Secretary of State, Mr. Uffe Ellemann-Jensen, and said, Ellemann, det her er en test. Lyt nu forsigtigt. Din far har et barn, og det er en søn. Hvem er det? Det må være mig. Nej, jeg indrømmer, det er svært. Det er George Bush.
That's what we learn in school today. That's what we learn in school.
What did the Goda tell you in school today? What did the Goda tell you about development of India? I learned that in India there are many Godas. But no rice and curry. No rice and curry. In Pakistan there are dosa butter jam. That means toast, butter and jam. But no rice and curry. In Calcutta, no rice and curry even if you're hungry. But in New Delhi we used to have Rajiv Gandhi, but now we got a lot of problems. Lot of problems. But no rice and curry. I've already said sorry, I'm sorry even if you're hungry.
That's what we learn in school today. That's what we learn in school. Bambino, bambino, tremi pronto, tremi immediatamente. I learned how to cook a soup in minestrone. And that Italian men can make a love all alone. That Federico Fellini is molto fantastic and how to make a pizza for export in a plastic. That's what we learn in school today. That's what we learn in school.
Now, what to learn in school today, man? I mean, you have been to school, not? I thought it enough, man. I learned that Denmark is a little land, and in Denmark we do not understand what the big world outside wonders for, and then we did not learn no more. Besides that we have Tivoli, the Little Mermaid, and a lousy economy, man.
That's what we learn in school today. That's what we learn in school.
Look, I should have had a Norwegian version. And actually, I spoke to a Norwegian and asked him to be kind enough to switch over to English so that I could hear how a Norwegian speaks English. And he said, of course, I can speak English. No problem. But honestly speaking, I don't think my English is very typical for a Norwegian. I mean, I happen to have been studying for 22 years in England. At Oxford, you know. So I definitely think you would have to find somebody else. And I never found somebody else, so I still don't know how they speak English.
That's what we learn in school today. That's what we learn in school.
And a common market version.
Fattig du learn het schoolfantag. Klein kleutertje.
The only thing I learned was this: we used to have only the mannequin piss. But now we've got the EEC, and they can make an European pee so they can piss on you and me.
That's what we learn in school today. That's what we learn in school.
Now, what to learn in school today, the little boy of mine? What to learn in school today? You see, I was in New York the other year. But it's very hard for a Swede to speak English, you know. Where to put the word and where to put the pressure. And where to put the whole damn thing. But I learned that when I have my breakfast in the morning, that what you put on the bread, on the butter, the sweet stuff, you know. Ladies and gentlemen, mark my words. It's not pronounced yum. It's pronounced jam. But now they've changed it to jelly. I learned that the sound of the Swedish language most people know from the Swedish cook in the Muppet Show. And that the Swedish girls are so pretty you feel you're in heaven. But it's hard to find a virgin over 11.
That's what we learn in school today. That's what we learn in school, yeah, yeah.
Tack för ikväll.